All right, let's get to our next discussion. Now, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong has commiserated with residents who lost their lives once following the recent attacks in some areas within and outside Jos, the state capital.
He condemned the killing, saying the government has mandated the joint security operatives in the state to fish out the perpetrators and bring them to justice. The governor says the government has signed into law the Administration of Criminal Justice Bill 2018 and the Penal Code Law of Plateau State.
It is sad that we are celebrating this year's independence with heavy hearts, considering the recent unfortunate incidences at Rukba Road and some areas in the Jos metropolis. Some innocent citizens were attacked and killed by agents of evil and destruction. While strongly condemning these tragic incidents, I wish to, on behalf of the government, commiserate with families of the bereaved, while the security agencies have been tasked to fish out the perpetrators and bring them to justice. The domestication of the administration of criminal justice law and the penal code law fulfill our desire to robustly ensure that we put an end to reigns of impunity by suspects of terrorist crimes, farmland trespasses, emerging patterns of land grabbing, cattle rustling, and cases of pure criminality such as acts of terrorism, arson, impersonation, girl-child defilement, and child stealing, etc. Criminals arrested in the state will no longer be weeks away to Abuja for trial, but promptly tried within the boundaries of our state and given the appropriate punishments if found guilty.
Right, that was the governor of Plateau State. Now, security expert Ahmed Kadiri joins us right now to take a look at and understanding what is going on the Plateau. Kadiri, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Okay. Plateau State had been relatively calm for some time until recently we started, having these issues again. I wonder, because there's one in the Jos South, and then the other one in Jos North. The Jos North had to do with the one that, students, there was some kind of attack on the university where a student lost his life. And then the one in Jos South had to do with the military general that was maybe kidnapped, or he's still missing, as the case may be, and his car was found in a pond. In fact, cars were found in a pond. How mysterious is that?
The car being found.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's Jos it's rather a very complex case, to my mind. Now, the missing general's car being found in a pond raises a lot of questions, which we are yet to have answers for. The security agencies, it's still an ongoing investigation. There is no confirmation yet as to what the fate of the general is. So we can't really dwell much on that. But it's rather sad that a military general, retired major general for that matter, is missing, and we still don't have answers to that. What is happening in Jos is rather very sad for the whole country, and these pockets of insecurities that are happening in Jos, in the northwest, it portends a lot of insecurity for us as a country. Well, I want to focus on Plateau State. You see, the stakeholders, to my mind, are not really doing enough to address the problem in Plateau State. When I say the stakeholders, I'm talking about the governors, religious leaders, traditional leaders. The people themselves are not helping matters. Now, if there is the political will to put an end to this problem, I can tell you by tomorrow we'll have peace in Jos. But for some reason, perhaps it benefits certain people to have things this way.
Even at the detriment of lives.
To the detriment of lives. A pregnant woman was killed in Rubuka. 9 people out of a family of 10 were killed. We have so many of these things replicated across the board in the state. And As a chief security officer in that state, I really don't know how you're able to go to sleep and watch all these things happen.
Human dignity has no doubt lost its
Human value in this country, we don't
On
have
the Plateau.
value for human life in this country.
This is evidenced by the perennial attacks, especially in Plateau State. But let us look at the position of the Chief of Army Staff. I'm quoting him now. He says that the body language of the elite and elders, their actions and inactions have emboldened the youths to maim and kill innocent passers-by at their whims and caprices. You made mention of the pond. I recall that we reported the reaction of the community to draining that pond. The opinion that it is ancestral. If the waters are taken away, it can cause ill and all of that. If the water meant so much to that community, I'm sure that they should also be aware of what has transpired over the time. How can these issues be resolved amongst the people first? Because the best we've seen the security operatives do is reacting to accidents when it has already happened.
Well, like I said before, the only way to solve this problem, the only people who can solve the problem in Plateau State are the people of Plateau State. And that starts with all the relevant leaders, religious, traditional, at the risk of repeating myself, the governor, religious leaders, traditional leaders. If they do not make the concerted effort to resolve this problem, it's just like if you have a problem within your family. I cannot come and resolve the problem in your family. You have to resolve it.
We've seen the governor held some consultations over the years. This appears not to have...
Those consultations have no political will, as far as I'm concerned. As long as you do not have the political will to solve the problem, remove all kinds of whatever sentiments, political sentiments, whatever it is you have. Be realistic in your approach to it. You understand? I'm speaking plain language. I'm not being technical about it. Be realistic for the sake of security, for the sake of well-being. For God's sake, that state used to be a tourist destination. You understand? People love to go to Jos because of the weather. The agricultural potential. You grow strawberries in Jos, for God's sake. You can grow grapes. It's an agricultural agroallied paradise. It's a tourist paradise. But we're all just messing it up for the sake of certain sentiments, because you're a Muslim, because you're a Christian, because I don't like the way you look. How has that helped anybody? It hasn't.
All right, but you mentioned the stakeholders earlier on, talking about traditional rulers and the governor and the people.
Religious leaders.
But the crisis in Plateau, with the challenges that comes with it, is it different from the kind in Benue or in Taraba or in Zamfara, for instance, where it seemed like the state government or the state government is overwhelmed by the pressure of the security challenges there?
You cannot, they are not symmetrical.
Okay.
What is happening in Benue State is not, you cannot say it's symmetrical to what is happening in Plateau State. They are two different scenarios. But at the end of the day, it still behoves on the leaders in both states to objectively come to the rescue of peace and security.
Yeah, but in a situation where the governor does not have constitutional or exclusive handle of security apparatus, what can he do in that regard? Because the military, the police, the SSS, all of them, they all have their allegiances and authority to Abuja.
You see, at the end of the day, it depends on you as an individual, as a governor. If you own your job, you decide to own your job, you will get the job done. Fine. The commissioner of police is answerable to the IG. Or whoever other security operator, they all have their bosses. But if you take your job seriously and do what is expected of you, these people will kowtow your line. But if you do not have the personality, the determination, the political will to do your job, they will read your body language and do whatever it is they like.
Let's look at the role of prosecuting these incidences. You know, whether you call it armed banditry, farmers' headers attack, you know, the military calls this a total act of criminality. Already, STF has arrested 72. They have paraded 27 over violence. But that appears to be all we hear of it. There is no example. There is no, you know, there is nobody going to jail, taken to court. And it appears that this has emboldened this crime the more. What can be done in that light?
It still boils down to the political will to get the job done. If you, as a governor, do not take it as a task to ensure that people are actually prosecuted, we actually see people hanging from the village square. If you do not make an example of there's a Chinese saying, if you do not kill the chicken to scare the monkeys, if nobody actually sees that happening, then nobody will feel you're just a clown. But for some reason, these governors do not really, they just pay lip service, come on TV, make press statements and all that, and the killings go on. I can mark you that what has happened in Jos is not the end of it. We've seen it happen over and over again. You said the police came, they have a few shots here and there. So after that, what happens? The people who have committed this crime are still out there. Nothing has happened to them. They are celebrating wherever it is they are. So what is going to stop them from committing these atrocities? What happened last week? Tuesday last week in Rubuka, some Fulani men, along with, it is said, alleged, I do not know, that military men came looking for the corpse of a Fulani boy. And 2 days, and when they couldn't find it, they promised reprisals. And reprisals, of course, did occur. Thursday, Friday, into what we saw again over the weekend. And these people commit these atrocities and melt away. Then all we have is lip service from those in authority, just read press conferences. We do not really see any action in ensuring that these things do not occur again. So it's the same circle.
Yeah. How disturbing are these dimensions when people attack students or attack an institution wearing military camouflage? In fact, from the side of the students, they said that they were military men. But the military has come to say, no, no military man is going to do that. But it is not just this incident. We've had even when Boko Haram attacks some places where they say they come in military uniforms and all of that. Just how disturbing is that kind of trend?
It is quite disturbing because it is obvious that it is very easy to acquire the military uniform and go and commit an act to make it look as though the military. What is this now behoves of what is the military doing to stem this sort of anomaly, so to speak? What have they done about it? Yes, I see them harassing people who wear camouflage along the streets and all that, but that is not the problem. Get your intelligence right and get the problem solved.
Is there anything really that the people can do for themselves? We've heard vigilante, we learned about the role the civilian JTF played in the northeastern part of the country. Is there really a way the people can come up this time and say, well, we've had enough, we need to protect ourselves?
Security is everybody's problem. Now, you cannot go it alone as a security agency. Whether you're the Army, Air Force, Navy, SSS, you cannot go it alone because security is everybody's problem. What the relevant security agencies should do is to co-opt everybody into protecting communities, into protecting towns, into protecting villages. Co-opt everybody into this apparatus to give you a better spread in getting the job done. If you leave the people out of it, you cannot just come into a village and say you are the army, you are going to take over the place, you are securing, without co-opting the people. You will fail. So we need everybody, all hands must be on deck. Everybody should be part of it. That's why you have things like community policing.
Yeah. Okay, well, we look forward to more investigations coming out, especially with the missing of the retired the general and finding his car and other cars in a pond. It makes it look really
That is supposedly sacred.
Exactly. Ahmed Kadiri, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, guys.
Right. All right, just before we go, we need to let you know that the views and reaction of our resource persons on the topics discussed on the program today are their views and have no connection with TVC News. We need to establish that for you to know. Then we must thank you also for spending your morning with us. Tomorrow we'll be back again with other issues that concern Nigeria, Africa, and the world. Have a great day ahead. I am Mike Okwache.
See you again tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.